up, y'all? As you can see, when I'm recording this is the daytime. Please excuse my hair. I did not do it yet this morning. I slept over at my girl's place, and I'm driving back home now. But I want to make this video real quick. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I know I'm on the highway and stuff like that. But so I want to make this video talking about how corn or PMO in general is a short-term gratification. And in my last video, I kind of talked about it a little bit, but I want to go into more detail about the topic. So, shout out to brother Iron the Soul. His YouTube channel is obviously Iron the Soul. He's the one who brought this up first and actually, reaffirmed to me, because me and him talk here and there. Shout out to him, he gives me a lot of advice about life and stuff like that. And he told me about it, like, PMO is really a short-term gratification, because as men, right, testosterone is our life energy, our creative energy, right? We use testosterone to create things, right? To do things, all right? Testosterone in men is what basically created the world. Not created the world, take that back. Created whatever country you're in, right? Whatever country you live in right now, because obviously I have viewers around the world. Buildings, stuff like that, things that were built because of testosterone, right? Hopefully that makes sense. I know that first sounded crazy, create the world. That's not what I meant, right? Y'all know what I mean. Back then, right? Obviously, corn was kind of a thing, right? It was harder to access, though. Like, it was hard to access. Nowadays, unfortunately, the internet. I was telling my girl how the internet is good and bad, right? Obviously, I didn't talk to her about the corn, right? I didn't say that, but like, I talked to her about how the internet is good and bad in general. We're talking about, like, I was talking about jobs at that point. I'm like, how back in like the 80s and stuff like that, you have to like go in person and apply, put in a paper application. You go in there, ask for an application, you fill it in, and it's less competition because it's in that area, right? You're in that area that you live in. Nowadays online, it's easier to apply for jobs, but at the same time you get competition and stuff like that, and a lot of places are remote, so they can outsource overseas to save money, right? So that's what we're talking about. But in this video, I'm talking about the internet has good and bad, because the internet is good for obvious communication, finding out information faster and stuff like that, but it's negative in terms of society, how society's turned. People. Shout out to Shyman Davis for this video. I actually just watched the video before this, but I was listening to it. I'm driving, so I was listening to it. But he was talking about how a lot of people's self-confidence are destroyed by society, especially younger people, because society built us sort of like these stereotypes for people, to where if you're not rich or have like a sports car, anything like that, you're seen as a bum, right? You could have a job, go to church, do whatever, like stay out of drama and stuff like that, just be to yourself, and you're considered a bum because you're boring, right? So how society kind of ruined people's self-confidence that way, stuff like that, right? It's just crazy, But back in the day, I was saying it was harder to see the corn, right? You had to go to like a magazine shop, or obviously I don't know. I was not born back then. I was born in the late 90s, but I was not alive during that time, right? I was alive during the 2000s, but obviously I was a kid, so obviously I wouldn't know this stuff. But obviously stuff was harder to see, right? Obviously I was conscious of going to school, stuff like that, when the internet was slow, right? I was around when we had dial-up connection, and I couldn't use a computer if my mom was on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was conscious during that time. And I was conscious during the time of slow internet, right? We're downloading a single music file, MP3 file, took like 10 minutes. I was during that time, So obviously, if a music file took that long to download, you can imagine how hard it was to access videos and stuff like that on the internet at the time, right? So obviously back then, I assume, from other people was like talking about stuff like that who were around back then. You had to go to like magazine shops and stuff like that to access corn, right? So even though it was there, it wasn't easily accessible, right? So a lot of times guys, when they felt, horny and I was testosterone and stuff like that, they used it for productive things. They used it for talking to girls, not everybody obviously, but they used it to talk to girls in person because there were no cell phones, right? And even when there were cell phones, there was no internet on the cell phones, right? There was limited minutes. You had to pay for text, like, you know what I'm saying? So you would meet a girl in school or outside, wherever it may be. You meet them in person, you would talk to them, and then you would communicate with them through the cell phone, or you call the house phone. You know what I'm saying? You go pick up, like, there was no social media, there was no DMs, there was no, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So a lot of times guys use that testosterone, that energy, to go out and approach women. You know what I'm saying? But nowadays, guys are basically programmed in society because society sees corn and, doing the deed as normal, right? They see it as normal. So they use it as short-term gratification. They use it as short-term gratification and just turn to that stuff, right? They'll feel a little bit horny, right? Be like, oh man, I wake up, I feel horny. And instead of like doing push-ups or working on their business, whatever the case may be, doing something productive, going for a run, they go to the websites and, rub one out, whatever, right? And that right there damages the self-confidence because whatever, it's something I learned like last year, whatever you do in the dark comes out in the light, right? So even though you may think you're at home, in your bedroom, bathroom, whatever the case may be, and you're doing the deed, right? And you're looking at these pictures, videos, whatever, and you may think, it's even worse when you do it with someone you know in person or someone you see in person. You might not know them that well, but you see them in person. It's even worse than. But when you do that, then you think like, oh, I'm just doing it at home or whatever. I'm not going out in person. And you know what I'm saying? You're going to have this weird energy, the same energy you have when you're looking at these photos and videos lustfully. You're gonna have that same energy when you go out in person, right? You go to the grocery store, right? To make some groceries a week, whatever, and you'll see an attractive woman in person, and you'll just feel awkward. You'll feel awkward because not only did PMO mess with your self-confidence, not only did it mess with your natural energy, because when you're released, obviously, when you obviously bust, you release like nutrients and blood and stuff that your body needs, right? That's why there's stories of people who do the deed like 10 times a day, 3 times a day that aren't here anymore because their body needs those nutrients and you're just letting it out freely, right? That's not natural, right? Your body needs that stuff, but since you're releasing that and your mind is in a lustful state and stuff like that, when you go out in person, not only do you feel awkward because there's a chance that you've done to that person's pictures, like on Facebook, whatever, Instagram, you saw the pictures, you screenshot it, you say whatever it could be, right? Not only do you feel awkward because you did it to their pictures, if it's something you didn't do to their pictures, you've done to other women from videos or pictures, so when you go see them trying to do it in person, you feel awkward, right? And not only do you feel awkward, you may feel like you're in a lustful state because your brain is thinking like any attractive woman you see instantly think lustful, because you can go through this corn, right? You can go through this corn, see all these different types of women and stuff like that. You can go to these websites, see thumbnails, scroll, right? You see some you're not attracted to, you see some you are attracted to, right? Open tab, open new tab, right? You have access to all these women that are your type, or even women that weren't your type, but since you're already down the rabbit hole of this stuff, they become your type because you're already in that state, right? You see all these women, and you're busting to them, right? Then afterwards you feel guilty and stuff like that. But now your mind's at a lustful state, so when you're out in person and you see all these attractive women, because obviously it's real life, you're gonna see attractive women everywhere, right? You're in a lustful state and you're like, man, like, you know what I'm saying? It's because all that short-term gratification, instead of want to go out in person and talk to women, right? if you go to the store or whatever, you see women looking at you or giving you signs or whatever and going to approach her, you feel like, that's too much work. That's too much. That takes too much effort, right? Let me just go home and do it and rub one out real quick to a woman on the hub, or you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. It's short term, man. And you may feel like you may go through like a bad day or whatever, and your body might be just want to get its mind off of it, right? You want to get your brain wants to forget about everything that's happening in your life, so it wants to turn to bad habits. It wants to turn to that dopamine, that thing that makes you happy, that chemical that makes you happy when you work out, you know, eat good food and stuff like that. Your body gets 10 times the amount you're supposed to get when you view that content. Even if you don't do the deed and fully, just watching that stuff and viewing that stuff, it gives that dopamine. You know what I'm saying? That's why even if you watch stuff and don't do it, it's still not good, because your mind is still getting that unhealthy content. You know? So your body's gonna see that dopamine when you're going through bad stuff, when you're going through anything negative. Instead of being like, all right, I'm a man. As a man, I'm gonna work through it, right? I'm gonna talk to God, I'm gonna pray on it, I'm gonna fast, I'm gonna work on it, I'm gonna fix it. Instead of doing that, your body's like, it goes to that quick fix, right? Like a drug addict, like a quick fix. Like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go to that real quick. I'm gonna go on that website, I'm gonna pull it up. I'm saying, disable my blockers. And then you do the deed. You know what I'm saying? You waste hours scrolling through content for a 5-second release, and then boom, issue is still there in your life, but now you're there with no energy. You want to go straight to sleep. You don't want to do anything. All right? Or you might have had a plan, like, I'm gonna do this and this to correct this issue, but it's too much work. It feels like too much work in my head, so I'm just gonna go rub one out, and now you're too lazy to do anything. It's all about the short-term application, that quick fix. It's not healthy. You know what I'm saying? But that's what a lot of guys turn to, because it's an addiction, right? But if you push through it and don't seek out that short-term gratification and actually work, the long-term results from not getting that quick fix is going to last longer, and you're gonna reach that full potential. Like I said in my New Year's video, you're gonna reach that full potential if you don't go for that short-term stuff and go for the long-term stuff, because it's gonna last longer. It might be a longer work, but it's gonna be more fulfilling and last you longer. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to come here and talk to y'all about that little topic, because I said it in my last video, but I wanted to actually make a video about it and go deeper into that topic. So hope y'all enjoy it, man. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll catch you on the next one. Brother Aaron out. Peace. Check out the Apprentices Discord and Telegram to talk to like-minded men like you and get support and accountability. Link in the description.